Hey, so you talked about hope, and you got that Superman shirt on.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your love for Superman.
Oh, that could be another
'Cause
hour.
I know we'll keep it into like 2 minutes.
2 hours? I could do that. I was a very depressed teen, like very dark mental health problems, and I didn't believe in hope, like I said. And Jesus will use literally anything and everything. I mean, he says even these rocks will cry out. He'll use anything and everything. One of my favorite quotes from the author J.R.R. Tolkien, the author of Lord of the Rings. He was a professor. I think he was a professor at Oxford. And good buds with C.S. Lewis, the theologian and author of Narnia. Tolkien said there is a grain of truth in every myth. And Superman is a deeply mythological character and a deeply truthful character. He literally stands for truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. So when I heard the last Superman movie was coming out, Man of Steel, I was like, how are they going to make this goofy, stupid-looking guy into something cool? And before the movie came out, I started doing a deep dive into the comics. And as my life was pretty rough and I felt pretty miserable, this guy was just represented hope. He's just the embodiment and the personification of, he's like Mr. Rogers with the cape. And I think the suspension of belief you have to do with Superman, the part of him that's hard to believe is not, wow, he has so many powers. That's fine. It's the fact that he has so many powers and he's still good. Because power corrupts. And Superman is the antithesis of power corrupting. Superman is basically a thought study of what if power didn't corrupt? What if there was a guy who had power and wasn't corrupt but fought against corruption? Like the first Superman comics, he wasn't fighting against supervillains. He was fighting against corrupt landlords and senators and like injustice in the systems, injustice in the government, war profiteering, all that stuff. So he would go out of his way to find what was wrong and broken in the world and then do his duty to stop it. And then with the power, he decides to not to dominate and to rule over and to lord over, but he decides to be human. He wants to be human. That's what he wants the most, is to be human. And he chooses to be, in the words of the comics, meek, mild Clark Kent. Like that's the choice that he chooses to be. And I know I think people take Superman as for granted because he's the first superhero from 1938, and there was no superheroes before 1938. He's the first one. There's a reason why that's crazy. I think people just don't have a memory of life before Superman, but there was a world before Superman. And the idea of Superman is so radical that the Nazis said that he was dangerous. They said, don't let your kids read Superman because he's dangerous. The idea that he was called the champion of the oppressed, the idea that someone who can use good to speak truth to power and to show truth to power, that's threatening for worldviews like fascism. That's threatening for, and this is a few years before, right around the same time that Superman's created. So Superman had a anti-KKK story in 1946, pre-civil rights. So he's always been a powerful champion of the oppressed. But his whole thing is there's always a way.
And you didn't so you said you did your deep dive into Superman when Man of Steel came out?
And then I saw the movie and I was disappointed because I was like, this movie does not go into the stuff that I like. I read stories highly recommend Superman Birthright, excellent story. All-Star Superman, Superman Smashes the Klan, which is based off that 1946 Superman story. It's a modern reinterpretation of that. Superman Up in the Sky, which is a Superman version of the parable of the Jesus going for the lost sheep, leaving the 99. There's a Superman version of that story. So this character, sometimes you need to see it in a different way. And when I was 16, I needed to see, I was just kind of moved by this character who he has all the power in the world essentially, but he chooses to look for cats and squirrels and suicidal girls. Well, that's a bar. You hear that? That rhyme. Cats, squirrels, suicidal girls. Anyway, and All-Star Superman number 10, which is one of my favorite comics. Superman, and again, I'm dealing with bad mental health stuff.
Yeah. So you're coming out of your or you're dealing with your mental health
I'm
during
in
this
it.
time?
I'm in it. I'm not coming out of it. I'm smack dab in it.
And then you get exposed to
Superman
this movie.
Yeah. No, the stories, the comics.
Okay.
Not the movie. The movie would have made me worse. The comics.
But I'm saying the movie coming out triggered you to read the comics.
Right. So I'm reading All Star Superman. Highly recommend All Star Superman. Well, don't read that first. It's really wacky, but it's a very good story. And then in it, the context of the story, Superman's dying, and he's deciding what to do with his last days. And in one of the chapters, he's just going around and finding like kids with cancer and trying to help heal them. And he finds this girl about to jump off the roof of this building, and he just goes there and comforts her. And he just says, "You're stronger than you think you are," and hugs her.
Wow.
That's what he does. And I was like, oh, this is what Superman is? Like, and then I found out that Superman tries to redeem his villains. He's not trying to just stop evil. He's trying to heal it, redeem it. So he's always, I just read a comic recently that just came out called Last Days of Lex Luthor, where he is saving Lex Luthor. So Lex Luthor is dying, and he's trying to save him and redeem him. This is a guy who's tried to kill him all his life, and Superman always says like, no, you got it in you. You just choosing it to use power for yourself, but you got all this potential, and I believe in you. So Superman believes in Lex, even though Lex don't even believe in the goodness of Superman. Superman believes in the goodness of Lex.
Wow.
So like stuff like that stuff is very profound to me, and I think the recent movie like gave you like a little samples of the things that I love about Superman. I think you got like a little samples of that in the movie.
Okay.
So I recommend the movie, but it is very inspired by that comic All Star Superman, which is very wacky.
Okay.
So the guy who wrote All Star Superman he's kind of trying to prove a point that like everybody loves dark and edgy Batman and dark and edgy gritty. He was like, you could still make something deep and profound and make it the opposite of dark and edgy. Make it lighthearted and cartoony and fun. And he's like, everybody's all up in this dark and gritty trend, and I'm gonna do the opposite. So in All Star Superman, he's like, I'm gonna make it bright and colorful. And he's like, I'm not gonna make things like easily grounded and explainable. I'm gonna make it he's like, I want people to learn what it's like to have childlike wonder again. So this movie is rooted in that. So when you go into the movie, it's trying to touch on your childlike wonder heartstrings. It's not trying to make sense in this dark, gritty world. It's trying to invoke the spirit of wonder that you had as a kid.
That's good, bro.
Yeah, highly recommend it.
That's good. I didn't like Superman I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the character itself because I always thought it was corny because I'm like, he's super strong and can do everything. Get out of here. So
that's what I thought. The point is that he's super strong and do anything.
Yeah, and because of that, I never got into that.
But think of how crazy is that someone who's super strong can do anything and chooses to lay his life down.
Yeah. So that's definitely a good point, and it definitely reminds you of Jesus. So
yeah.
I can see how you made the connection there. That's really, really good.
Yeah.